like to give everybody out there listening a very warm White Cat welcome, because you're tuned in to the White Cat Outdoors podcast. What's going on, everyone? White here, White Cat Outdoors podcast. If anyone was wondering, I still don't have coronavirus, and Tom also doesn't have it. He's sitting right there.
Healthy as a horse.
How about that? Nick, do you have it yet?
Nope, but I am keeping my distance. We're 3 feet apart.
All right. No gatherings over 100 people? None of that?
Right. I think it's 10 now.
10? Oh, man.
No groups under 10.
We're almost to half of that because we got one more over here that still doesn't have coronavirus.
Still don't have it. Feels good to be back, guys. But make sure you got your hand sanitizer on you, practicing that social distancing.
Hopefully everyone's got their toilet paper because it's going to get wild out there.
Who knows? It could. I know I stocked up.
Tom, weren't you doing the math earlier about people buying like 48 rolls and using 15 sheets per
No, he's more shapes.
Yeah, I'm not a numbers guy. I'm a shapes guy.
Well, they have squares in the...
How many squares of toilet paper?
I saw a video of this guy that was doing the math, and it turned out to somewhere where you'd have to use, if you bought like 50 rolls, you'd have to use like 20 sheets per poop for like 144 poops a day or something.
That's a lot of poops a day.
Is that on a Mexican diet or just like more of like a cheese and pasta diet?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. It's
because that could greatly
I'm
affect
sure
your consumption.
My math is way off. Well, because this was a video I watched. And really
was it on the internet? So it should be.
Yeah,
should
it's 100% reliable. But
yeah.
I wasn't really paying that close attention to it. It was a lot of paper involved, a lot of math.
Well, just as long as you're not taking 144 poops a day, everyone should be good on toilet paper.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of a lot, Frank, why don't you go into the large amount of podcast platforms where you're on now? Because, we've been hammering getting us out there so everybody can listen no matter what podcast platform you're on.
Yeah, Nick's really been putting in the work getting us on different platforms. So just give me 1 second. I'm probably not going to run through these every single time now because there's so many. I used to say, quick little thing of how many podcast platforms we were on. I'm not doing it anymore. This is the last time. I'll probably just hit a couple of the big ones from now on, so listen now if you want to hear them all. 1, 2, 3, go. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Pandora, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Podbay, Castbox, Podbean, YouTube, WhiteCatOutdoors.com, and also TuneIn. Nick wrote that one off to the side, so that's why it came last. And also, you always got to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And, yeah.
Press that little bell. Get the notifications. We're going to start dropping videos hard here, so get ready for them.
Oh, yeah.
We've been saying we're going to get serious about dropping videos, but, we mean it now.
We had one. It's going
to get real.
This whole coronavirus outbreak's really...
it's putting the kibosh on things.
Yeah, it's really tied us up a little bit.
Yeah, we had a crap winter that didn't really lend itself to any ice fishing videos or stream fishing videos. We did get one released, so just keep an eye out. It's going to start happening.
It's going to get wild. So stay tuned, as they say.
And also one more quick little thing. The big part about putting out videos is having an idea to put out. So if you guys want to see anything, get a hold of us somehow. You guys know how to do it, and let us know what you want to see a video on, and we'll see what we can do to make it.
So now that we got all that housekeeping out of the way.
Oh wait, no, I got one more thing to say. I almost forgot.
One little more bit of housekeeping.
All you listeners, could we have a show of hands at who listens on YouTube? That many. Okay, that's quite a few. We would like to extend an apology to you guys because for some reason, Steve YouTube has not been letting us put our podcasts on the past 2 weeks. So we put them on, they get deleted, we appeal it. They're like, oh no, you don't break any rules. They put it back on. 10 minutes later, they take it back down. So if anyone's been wondering what's going on, that's what the deal is. We're working on getting it rectified. Hopefully this week's podcast is on there and stays on there. And if it's not, we're really sorry, but good thing I gave you 15 other podcast platforms to listen on, so go tune yourself in on one of those.
For sure. Thank you, Frank. So,
I think that is all the housekeeping?
That is all the housekeeping.
I think so. I think we're all swept up here.
Let's get into the meat and potatoes on tonight's podcast, and that is our second host hot seat. And it's going to be featuring...
Could you have like a little siren or a bell go off?
Woo!
Thanks, Tom.
Woo.
Woo.
Thank you. That was professional sound effects by Tom. He also does shapes on the weekends.
I'll be here all week.
So Frank Myers is going to be sitting in the hot seat tonight. We're going to be bombarding him with some questions, figuring out what gets him outside, and we actually have a few fan-submitted questions for you towards the end. So, Frank, why don't you just...
Wait, before we dive right into it, I want to crack one more beer. Just one.
Okay, just one.
Anyone
So-
else?
Just a quick one.
No,
I'm
he's
actually
going
doing
to crack
good.
a beer, and stay tuned while we figure out who the white behind White Cat is.
That's right.
That's where White Cat comes from. Half
Yep.
white.
Tom, you don't have to
half
explain
cat.
it. You've done it before.
Yeah, we've
White
been
cat.
there. We've been there. So okay, what do you want to know?
So I think first off, let's
Well,
okay.
we end.
All right.
Yeah, you guys said I need to talk more. I usually get interrupted when I talk, so now
You should
I'm
probably
gonna do
start
the
interrupting.
It's a good tactic. Let's see how it works.
Yeah, so normally we end our videos or our podcast with Nick closing out saying, whatever you do, make sure you get outside. So let's start off with Frank here telling us how he gets outside.
Well, I mean, you guys know a little bit about me from all the previous podcasts. You know what I like to do and get outside. And basically where I started the whole getting outside deal. You guys met my dad in the Alaska Elite Outfitters podcast, Frank Myers. And he is literally the basis of everything getting me outside from day one. I literally cannot remember a time in my life where I wasn't, doing something with him outside, whether it was fishing or shooting guns. One of my earliest memories is actually fishing at Nick and Tom's house, and I caught a big old bass, monster. And me and my dad were out there just having fun fishing, and it's a real good time. So I couldn't pick one specific thing to say this is like my first outdoor experience, because I literally can't remember, but that's like the earliest thing that I remember. And yeah, so that's where it all started. And from there, it just kept going. I literally do everything outside. As you guys know, I'm all about hunting and fishing. And
So now that we know that you do everything outside, what's your bread and butter? I mean, we know that Tommy here is real big on that hunting and trapping, and Nick's more geared towards the whitetail, and I'm big on the streams. So what's your bread and butter?
I'm all about literally just chasing anything with my bow. If it involves my bow, I'll go after it.
Big
And
archery
being a
guy.
national champion with a shotgun in your hand.
We'll get to that later. I wasn't a national champion.
All-American?
Individual. Yeah, we'll get to it later.
We'll brush up on that.
We'll talk about it. So yeah, mostly I'm real big on the bow. I'll chase anything with a bow. I love deer hunting, but I'm not like a lot of people like really focus hard on deer hunting like that. Deer hunting is their specific passion, and I don't really like to focus on one specific thing. I mean, I like, obviously if that's what I'm hunting, that's what I do. I put up my heart and soul into that, but I'll chase anything really.
Have you ever shot a turkey with a bow? I know a lot of people kind of want to get into that and try that, but never really got the chance to. Have you ever?
I never have. Kind of a stupid story. Actually, I'm not even going to tell it because I don't know if it's legal.
No.
Yeah. Never mind. I didn't actually accomplish it, so I didn't break any laws, but never
Thought
mind.
about it.
Well, attempting murder is still breaking the law, so.
I didn't even come close. So it's literally not important
Thinking
anymore.
about it's not illegal.
Yeah,
True.
Exactly. Premeditation is not illegal.
It is, though.
So yeah, I have not killed one with a bow. I've got some places that I've thought about. I was gonna do it last year, but I ended up not having a ton of time in turkey season last year to do it. So, I was gonna do it in the fall. So, I just haven't really gone out. I would like to try to get it done this spring. So we'll see how it goes. I'm really honing in with the bow. Me and Nick are shooting a winter video league with our bows. So, feeling pretty confident I could take one out. So, we'll see how it goes.
Now,
So-
would you do the old spot and stock, or would you like start with a ground blind and then work up from there?
I would probably do the spot and stock. I mean, not really. It's not really a spot and stock. It's not an elk. It's more of like a call and
It's like
listen
a listen
and
and
stock.
stock.
Yeah. So I would probably go with
Well,
that.
I guess I was more referring to them. You see those videos of the guys with the decoys?
That's illegal in Pennsylvania, Tom.
Really?
Yep.
Good
I
thing
don't
I've
want to
never
break
done
any
it.
laws.
Good thing I've never done it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I wouldn't do something like that. I just plan on my spring tactic is to just I'll call, listen, and if I can bring them right into my lap, then
So same approach as you would with a shotgun.
yeah, absolutely, basically. But hopefully it
With
a bow.
Yep.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. So you did say that your main passion when it comes to the outdoors is archery.
Yeah.
And we've all heard on the podcast your story of your Pope and Young, but I am aware of a other big game animal you've taken with a bow at a pretty young age up in Alaska.
Yeah, I shot my black bear with a bow.
So why don't we go over that a little bit, because I think that's a pretty cool feat, especially at the age you did it. It's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, I think I was 13 when I did it. So I wasn't like crazy young, but pretty young.
I mean, that's usually a year after you can actually legally hunt with a bow in this area.
Give us the juice. Give us the details. All the tips, tactics.
Okay, so...
Yeah, that's actually a good point, Tom. Why don't you break down how you go about hunting black bear up in Alaska?
Well, it's pretty simple up there in Alaska. The area that we were hunting in, you can bait. So we straight up...
So that's straight up Ted Nugent style.
Yeah, straight up Teddy style. And I tell you what, it worked. What
jelly donuts?
I was going to say, jelly donuts or...
we used dog food, and like
Kool-Aid.
what we did, no, we didn't have any Kool-Aid. That stuff costs too much up there. So what we did, we take a 55-gallon drum, and you cut a small hole in it, like a credit card-sized hole. And you put...
More of a slot, isn't it?
No,
like a rectangular hole.
Yeah, I'm not saying the...
It's more of a notch or a channel when you say.
that's not what he's talking about.
Well,
you're not sliding the credit
I
card
wouldn't
in.
call it a hole. I'd call
Tom's
it, you cut a small window.
Yeah,
Let's
Tom's
call
the
it a
shape
window.
guy. What would you call it?
I would say you cut a hole the size of a rectangle. That's the size,
The
of,
size of
of
a
a
rectangle. All right, so
How
Tom's
big is the rectangle?
the size of a credit card.
Okay.
cut a rectangle the size of a credit card. Go ahead, Frank.
So then when the bear comes up, he knows that dog food's in there. You don't fill it the whole way, obviously. You just put probably 20 pounds in there. And then the bear just starts rolling that barrel around, getting the dog food out. So it gives you a lot more time to look at it and judge what the bear is, so you don't accidentally shoot something that's small, or, it just gives you a good gauge, because the barrel's a good gauge for how big a bear is. So while he's sitting there playing around with the barrel, you can judge him and see exactly how big he is. So that's what we did. I was up there for 2 weeks, and the first 3 days I was there, I was just kind of helping out in camp and doing different things. I wasn't hunting. I went out with my dad and this other lady that was in camp, and she shot a really nice cinnamon bear. It wasn't a monster. It was probably 250-pound bear, but it was beautiful, real nice cinnamon. And I was actually, we saw it a couple days, like the first day I was in camp, we saw it. And I was like, oh, man, I'd kind of like to shoot that one. But she ended up shooting it, and I was real happy for her. So even though I wanted it, but I wasn't bummed out. So then I went back 2 days after she shot that bear. I sat at the same bait that bear was killed at, and I got mine. It was a nice 200-pound black bear, about 6-footer. Excuse me. And, yeah, that's basically it. I mean, I just sit...
How far away were you from, like, I guess, how would you set up on a bait pile when you're using a bow?
There was like most of the baits that we had up there were stands at. So it was just set up the tree stand wherever, so if you wanted a bow shot, it was set it up 20 yards away. A couple of them, we just kind of made like real quick ground blinds. And that was like, honestly, the coolest experience I had that whole hunt. Wasn't even killing my bear. The one bait we were sitting at, me and Dad were sitting on the ground, and we had like this big pile of like sticks and brush in front of us, and that pile was like 2 feet in front of me, and we're kind of sitting behind it, and the pile was probably like about 5 feet wide, and we're watching this one bear at the bait, and I didn't, it was too small, I didn't want to shoot it. It was about a 150-pound bear, and we're watching it for about 10 minutes, and he starts getting curious, because they're insanely curious animals. And he starts, I think he probably smelled us a little bit, so he was getting curious and started walking over to us and started walking up that pile of sticks right in front of us that was our blind. And my dad had a rifle in his hand, and it was just kind of like propped up on his knee, pointing out towards the bait. And the bear's just slowly walking up, and it can see us, but it doesn't quite have everything figured out, and it's literally a little bit more than the barrel length away from us. It's right on top of us, and Dad clicked the safety off just to get ready, and the bear heard the safety click and just stopped and stood there for a second and then slowly backed off. It was a really, really cool experience, and it kind of makes you nervous, but I mean, obviously there's a gun right there, so it's not like you're gonna die. And bears usually, once they know you're there, they're not gonna hang around or try to fight you for any, like at the bait sites. It's not like a grizzly bear on a moose kill. They're pretty aggressive, but the black bears on the dog food baits, they get run off all the time, so they just leave and come back. So that's what that one did. It just ran off for 10 minutes, came right back to the bait, and started eating dog food again.
So I heard, I don't know if it's true or not, you're the bear expert. I heard when it comes to bears in Alaska, if you're getting attacked by a bear, whether if it's a black bear, you're supposed to fight back. If it's a grizzly bear, you play dead. Is there any truth behind that?
I have never been attacked by a bear, but I've also heard the same thing that you said, but honestly, if you're getting chewed on by a bear, I don't think you're going to win either way. But to keep it at bay, yeah, I would say black bears, especially like where we were, they're so used, because they're on the baits all the time. They're so used to people coming into the baits to, put dog food and stuff out. Oh, another thing we put out was buckets of bacon grease. They went mental for that bacon grease, man. They loved it.
Where are you getting buckets of bacon grease? Like, how much bacon does one have to cook?
A couple pounds of bacon a day.
A good amount of bacon.
No, I don't know where all of the bacon grease came from.
Was there just like a big,
I have
like,
a pretty good idea where
was there a Waffle
came
House?
from bacon.
There's probably a Waffle House up there by Alaska that you guys were going
right
to.
about 10 minutes from our camp, right upriver. There was Waffle House. I think there was a Denny's right next door to it as well.
Nice.
They were all right there. They gave
But
us
you
their
guys
bacon
have all
grease.
the amenities up there.
Yeah, we're not out in the middle of nowhere at all.
That's what we like to hear.
Yeah,
But so from what I understand, you don't only hunt black bear up in Alaska. You do a handful of other things up there,
such as the G word.
Well, yeah,
or working towards the G word.
I'm eligible to get my guide
Heading
license
to the
now.
G spot.
The G spot. Yeah, that's where I'm on my way to. But yeah, I'm eligible to get my guide license right now. I'm gonna get it next year. Yeah, I'll be guiding moose and brown bear hunts. So, and I've been up in moose camp. That's where I was last year. You guys have heard me talk about that. Could you shut up, please? You've heard me talk about that in the Alaska Elite Outfitters podcast, so you know all about what I'm doing with that. Guess I could go into it again.
Yeah, I
have
think
you talked
should.
about the fishing?
Yeah, we talked about that with Klobuchar.
The commercial fishing?
Mm-hmm.
Just a little bit, but yeah. So
I mean, this is
I
your
started
hot seat,
doing.
so in case, because I mean, some people don't.
Yeah.
They might not hear that one yet, but if you talk about it now, they're like, "Oh, damn, he goes into
Might
it
as well
again."
go back and
so
listen.
we might as well go back and listen to that again. So, Frank, why don't you just break us down what's going on with that?
Yeah. So what got me up to Alaska originally was probably when I was in about, I think I was either a freshman or a sophomore in high school. Was the first year I went up commercial fishing. I went up in 7th grade doing the black bear hunt, and then I got into commercial fishing, and I got into that because my dad, in the fall when he was hunting, they had a pilot that was just a local guy around Dillingham, Alaska, and his whole family was big into commercial fishing. That was basically their livelihood throughout the year, the summer, I should say. And his brother needed some help commercial fishing, so he told the pilot told my dad that he needed some help. So me and my dad started going up, and that was a lot of fun. It's not like, every time I tell people about that, they're like, "Oh, you're out on the boat like the Deadliest Catch guys," and I'm like, I'll let you think that for a minute because it's pretty cool, but no, that's not even close to what it is. Like, what we were doing was set netting, and it's all on the beach. There's no boat involved except what they would do sometimes. Like, they would open and close the season throughout the day sometimes, depending on the number of fish that are getting up the river. So they have like counters in the river. So say their target for the river today is 50,000 fish.
Mm-hmm.
That's made up number. But if that's what they
It's
want,
made up name.
it's a made up name, man. So if they get that number up river, they open the season. You're good to fish until they say to close it. And if they close the season for an extended period of time on the bay, sometimes they'll open it in the river. So we got shut down on the beach out in Nushagak Bay for probably about a week. And during that time, we went up into the river and were fishing, set netting out of just a small skiff. It was probably about a 20-foot boat.
Now you're targeting kings in these nets?
No. We were
What were you targeting?
sockeyes.
Sockeye salmon.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever catch any like untargeted species in your nets?
Yeah, we caught a few. The way gill nets work, though, it's a pretty foolproof method. Like, you catch a few. Like, kings get caught because they're so big, their bottom jaw gets caught and they have teeth. So they'll get caught by their bottom jaw, just get tangled up. But for the most part, if you have a net for that fish, that's pretty much all you're going to catch. We caught a few like dollies and stuff, but that's about it. You don't get a whole lot of bycatch, and there's not a lot of other fish running at the same time. You know, like the sockeyes are running, you're not going to have pinks running at the same time. The seasons are different, so you don't get a huge byproduct of fish even in the area to catch.
Now, I'm not sure where Nushagak Bay is, but I know like a lot of inlets to
You know
rivers.
where Bristol Bay is?
I'll be honest, I'm not a big map
well,
guy.
Well, you should bone up on your maps. So you can be maps, Tom can be shapes.
I'll look at it. I'm not Tom's geometry, I'm geography.
Yeah.
See how that goes.
But it's Southwest Alaska.
Anyways, I know that there are sharks on the coast of Alaska, like salmon sharks. I just didn't know if they were anywhere near where you were.
We never had any problems with them. I mean, I don't even. We weren't in saltwater.
Okay.
Nushagak Bay's brackish because
Okay.
it's Nushagak Bay feeds into it and the Wood River comes into it, so it's brackish water. But we did get belugas from
That's
time
pretty
to
cool.
time.
You ever
yeah.
see belugas
Yeah,
when
we
you're
had.
out there?
Oh, and they would tear through the nets. Like they'd get right up close to shore where the salmon are running and just blow through nets. Blowing huge holes, and you're like, okay, that net is junk. And
Pull a new one out.
yeah, so that was really cool seeing the I almost said blue whales, beluga whales.
That'd be cool to see a blue whale in your net.
Yeah.
How do you think they would hold up against your net? Probably just go right through it, huh?
No, I think you probably catch a blue
You think?
whale. Yeah. It's
They're
pretty.
not that
It's a
big.
sturdy net, but the belugas are. I've heard they do a lot more weightlifting than the blue whales, so they're more geared for ripping through
They're
nets.
kind of like a narwhal, but without the horn.
Yeah,
So-
Narwhals are pretty sweet. You ever see a narwhal?
not there.
Those are in Antarctica, aren't they?
You're the geography guy.
Yeah, why don't you
Not
tell
yet.
us?
I'm not quite sure where they are.
Well, then
know,
why don't you
that's-
quit with
they're-
the questions until you
They're
have the
where
answers?
it's cold.
Yeah, it's gotta be pretty cold. I know they come up in like cracks in the ice. So
Probably the North or the South Pole.
Yeah, one of them.
Or Santa Claus lives.
no, I'm from the North Pole.
Not even close to here.
Maybe you should consider getting a high quality net made here in America.
Well, I know you do that, so I'll have you sew
you,
one
you
up
make
for
nets,
me.
Nick?
I don't personally make nets. I've designed nets, but
Could
never
they
made 'em.
hold a narwhal?
The ones we're making or just finished are. I don't know if you guys are up to date with your current events, but there's a huge
Do
barge.
they hold coronavirus?
No, not for that.
Put them up around your house. You're guaranteed to not get it.
Yep, that's what our mosquito nets are for. If you go down into Georgia right now, there's a huge barge tipped over on its side with thousands of Hyundai Sonatas on it. And we made the nets that are going to help pull the barge out in pieces. So, yeah, it's going to hold. The tensile strength on these nets each strand is 12,000 pounds. And
That's
there's a
not
lot
even
of them.
close to how strong a narwhal is.
Yeah, that's each strand, and there's a lot of them.
That's not even close to how strong a narwhal
I think a
is.
narwhal is going right through it.
Mm.
What is it off the coast or is it in a river?
It's off the coast. Like, there's literally
Well,
pictures
good thing there's no narwhals in
women
the
and
Gulf of
children.
Mexico.
on the beach with this huge barge tipped over. It's wild.
That does sound wild. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for your service and
Yeah,
making
I'm not
those
building
nets.
them.
You are.
I'm not. But
Let's get back to Frank here.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
we're
enough
talking
about
me.
you,
Back to
Nick. Come on,
Alaska.
quit being so selfish.
Yeah. So that's where the whole that's where my career in commercial fishing was, and that only lasted for a couple years. I'd like to get back up doing it, but the guy that I used to work for doesn't need help anymore. He's got a couple daughters that help him, so yeah, but I'd like to do it again, but I get up there all the time. So as long as I'm up there in Alaska, I'm having a good time. And that's where the whole guiding thing came from. You've heard how my dad got up there in the Alaska Elite Outfitters podcast. And just him being up there lends itself to me being up there. So, and I was trying to get up there years ago when I was, as soon as I was 18 and eligible to get a license, as far as my age goes, I wanted to get up there, but the guy that he worked for didn't need any help, and that guy retired. And then we were going to the Harrisburg show, and I talked my dad into coming with me, and we met a guy that owns Alaska Elite Outfitters. Mike Vanstrom is his name. And so, now I'm working for him up there, and I'm eligible to get my guide license now, but I'm going to wait one more year to get it. And then if if anyone feels like booking a hunt with me, feel
You
free.
can get the second one.
Yeah.
I've already claimed.
Yeah,
Frank's
Nick
first
did
hunt.
claim the first hunt once I get my guide license, so beware.
So I'm not done with this whole fish in Alaska thing, because I know you just talked a lot about the commercial fishing, but from what I understand, when you were up there black bear hunting, you killed your bear early in the hunt.
Yeah, I was
And-
there for 2 weeks and
Wait,
I
you're
killed
telling me you didn't do it on the last sit of the last day?
yeah,
Last
5 minutes
night,
left in the hunt.
last hour.
Yeah, but that is usually how hunting TV shows go. So it is a shock that I killed it on, I think it was the 5th or the 6th day of the hunt, and I was up there for 2 weeks.
And from what I hear, that next week you did a lot of, fish and pole fishing. None of this commercial.
Yeah,
net
none
stuff.
of them square hook deals. But yeah,
Let's hear about that.
pretty much all pike fishing actually. We were on the Tanana River when I shot my black bear, and we were just fishing in the sloughs and stuff, catching northerns. We weren't really where the Tanana is. You don't really get much of a salmon run there, and there's like the dollies and stuff that are native fish and some rainbows. But for the most part, we were just slamming pike, and we didn't catch any big pike, but we just as long as you had something in the water, you were catching a northern. Anywhere from 15 to 36 inches was, anywhere in there, you were just hammering them all day long. That was pretty much all we caught was northerns. We didn't really get into anything else.
KO wobblers.
Buddy, KO wobblers and a little Cleos too, a lot actually, and obviously the red and white daredevil. You
Oh.
can't go wrong with those, man. If you want to catch northerns, red and white daredevil will get it done all day long.
If you want to catch any fish ever,
Mhm.
doesn't even matter.
There's a
Like-
lot of times where me and Frank will be out muskie fishing or pike fishing, just predator fishing, and it'll be a slow day, and without doubt he'll pull out that red and white daredevil.
Absolutely.
And he might not catch a predator fish, but a largemouth bass or something is gonna smack that, and we won't go home empty-handed.
Yeah, exactly. You will always catch something on one of those. That's one of those things. It's like the original Rapala. They
You
just flat out
fish.
catch fish.
Yeah.
Is it
No two ways
is it
about it.
Rapala or Rapala?
Rapala.
I'm a Rapala guy.
I'm a Rapala.
Everybody's a Rapala? Okay.
Yeah.
Just while we're on the R words, ramen or ramen noodles.
Whew.
That's Raymond.
Raymond.
There's
I'm
an
a
E.
Raymond
There's
guy.
an
See-
E after the M.
See, if I'm saying the full name, ramen noodles, I'll say it that way. But if I just refer to it as ramen, that's how I'm saying
That's
it.
stupid. I'll say
Absolutely
it right to your
not.
face.
Yeah, I'm a
But
ramen guy. I know. I feel like the majority of people are ramen.
Majority is ramen, yes.
Is
Yeah.
there?
Stupid.
It's not RAHMEN. It's RAMEN.
Yeah, but this is the English language we're talking about.
exactly,
It-
and it's
I
being
feel
sold
like-
in America.
Knife
feel
has
like-
a K.
People. I feel like the
in front of
ramen
it.
ramen thing didn't come. It didn't start in America. Isn't that like?
I don't know.
You're
Yeah,
the
I always,
geographer.
I always thought Chile was
Geographer?
Mexican.
Geology.
No, it's not.
Geography.
It's not.
I'm a rocks
No.
guy.
Chile's an American dish.
Switching my name.
I
believe
would have
that?
bet money it was a Mexican dish.
Yeah, that is an American dish.
I thought it came from like Chile or something.
You would have thought it
No.
would have came from South America.
South America?
Chile.
That's where Chile is. Don't you know nothing?
It's not even spelled the same.
Nick is not a geography guy.
No, that's what we have Luke for.
It's not even spelled the same.
Just add
Could
an
you
E.
spell it?
Which one?
The food?
CHILLI.
No.
Actually, there's
no-
there's double L.
No.
Credibility shot.
Yeah. You just stop talking. Could you just sit this
Chile.
podcast
Yep.
out?
Yep.
Nick,
See
turn
you
your
guys.
mic
Get
out.
outside. Gone. All right. So, Frank, we've covered your guiding in Alaska, your hunting and stuff, but you are also a very decorated shot with a shotgun, in specifically the Trapple region.
I think I could take Frank in a one-on-one shoot-off.
Mm.
You might-
Mono e mono.
Carl, what's that mean?
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
So, give us the rundown, maybe how you got into trap shooting and where it took you. Because, I mean, that's, I think a lot of people are looking for things to do in the wintertime that like getting outdoors, and I think that's definitely something that people could get in on. So, if you could break it down, maybe how you got in,
Well,
and like I
would-
said, where it took you.
Well, I didn't really do it in the wintertime a whole
Yeah, I
said
don't know
summer,
why you
didn't I?
said that.
No,
No,
you
you said
definitely
winter.
said summer.
I meant
Or winter.
Oh,
now you got me
credibility
messed
shot.
up. Yep. I'll sit this one out too, guys.
All right, so I meant summer.
Yeah, summertime. In the summertime when the weather's hot. In 2008, I believe, was my first year, and I don't really know how it started. I don't remember if my dad asked me, if I wanted to get into it.
Well,
or if
I
we
vaguely
live by
remember you telling me a story of how it started,
What's the
And
story? Because I don't even remember.
I
that.
could be wrong. But
Are you about to shoot your credibility here too?
no. From what I remember, Frank was telling me a story. He was at his hunter safety course. And at the hunter safety course, you do some target shooting. And they let you shoot trap. And old Frank
I
goes
do
up
remember
there.
this.
And I want to say he shot 5 in a row and goes, maybe this sport is something I should look into.
That did happen, but it was a few years after that I started doing, because I took my hunter safety course when. Can you take it when you're 11?
You take it when you're 11 so you can
Yeah.
start hunting when you're 12.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah. So I took it when I was 11. I didn't start shooting
Credibility regained.
until. Yes. I started shooting in 2008, so I would have been 14. Actually, I would have been 13 when I started because of when my birthday is. So, yeah, that was the first time I ever shot a clay target and had a pretty good time. A little bit of success right off the bat, and got into it full time, as they say, in 2008, and started shooting competitions and practicing all the time. And the first few years, I was just getting the hang of it and, shooting a cheap gun and stuff. And eventually I figured it out a little bit, got pretty good, and won a couple of team state titles through the SCTP and AIM with, there was obviously 4 other people on my team. And
Well, so some people might maybe not realize that. Do you want to explain
yeah,
how like trap shooting goes, and maybe like just a little breakdown on what it takes or what you're doing there?
I mean, most of what I did was individual throughout the majority of the time I was doing it, but in like the AIM and SCTP thing, that was pretty much all team stuff, and there's 5 other people, or 5 total people on a trap team, because there's 5 spots on a trap field. For those of you that shoot trap, know that, but if you don't, there's 5 spots on a trap field. And so we had 4 other people on the team, and we were together the whole time through, like from the first day I was shooting, me and those 4 other people shot together until we graduated high school and all went to college. So we were a team the whole time, all the way through, and we were...
That trap shooting actually kind of led you to your first college, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
Yeah, well, I think you're working towards
Yeah,
that, correct?
Oh,
Yeah,
I just heard him
Luke's in
mention,
a hurry.
I just heard him mention it.
Luke's in a hurry. Apparently he wants to go to bed or something. But
Got nothing to do anymore.
yeah, with Corona shutting everyone
the country, but they can't shut down the White Cat Outdoors
No,
podcast.
they can't.
We are essential. We are, what is it, life-sustaining?
We are a
It is
life-sustaining
true.
business. We're keeping
Our
you
doors
shouldn't
are
be
open.
You shouldn't be outside
the
right
best-
now, but we're telling you to get outside.
One of the best parts about this whole shutdown is now you can listen to the White Cat Outdoors podcast midday drinking beer.
All day long.
You can day drink with us during the White Cat Outdoors podcast.
How could you go wrong?
You can't. I'll tell you that.
You can't beat that with a stick.
Nope. Couldn't beat it with a beer bottle.
It's like can't finish that one.
Yeah, why don't you just take a seat? Your credibility shot too.
So we were 4 for 4 out of here.
My credibility was never shot.
Mine was never.
It was
either.
shot
I
when
just-
you turned your mic on this morning or
So
this afternoon.
podcast is silent from now on for about the next hour and a half. So
Stay
thanks
tuned.
for listening. Where were we?
You were talking about
How good of a
you
trap
and
shooter
the
you were
same
with
4
other
Yeah.
people.
You're
teammates.
just bragging.
And that team was a very successful team. We won states quite a few years in a row. I don't even remember how many years in a row it was, but
Too many to count.
yeah, it was. We were a solid team, and we took second at nationals the one year. We took third the year after that. That team never won a national championship, but we were solid. We should have actually had it the one year. We ended up losing by 5 targets at the very end, with our 1,000 bird score. And in the last 15 targets of the competition, one of my teammates got stung by a bee out on the trap line. And it threw him for a loop. He couldn't concentrate, and he dropped 10 out of his last 15 birds. And we ended up losing by 5. And this kid was a pretty good shot. He normally would have broken all 15 of those targets, but he got stung by a bee, lost his focus, ended up dropping all the targets. So we took second that year. Should have been first, but, coulda, shoulda, woulda. It was second place. Year after that, we took third, and that was the last year we went to nationals. That was towards the end of my career doing American trap. And then after that, I started shooting Olympic-style trap, which is also called bunker trap. And
So you left the trap?
No, I left one style of trap to go to another style of trap, so I was still in the trap life.
Different
big time.
trap house though.
Yeah, different trap house. Same trap, different house. Different trap too. It was all different.
Trapping every day.
So the style that they shoot in the Olympics is much, much harder than American trap. And that's what I started doing right before college. I think I started that my junior year of high school or the beginning of my senior year. I can't really remember.
The local trap house that we shoot at actually just installed a bunker trap kind of right before you went off to college, didn't they?
Yeah, like me and two other people in the area were big into that, or I was starting to get into it. There was two others that were already really big into it, and they kind of mentored me. It was Andy Tobin and Brandy Hobbs are their names.
She was on the USA team for a little bit, wasn't she?
Yes, she was.
That actually, now that I say it, should be a good podcast too. Would be.
Oh yeah, yeah. She's definitely got some really great stories to tell about. You know, traveling all over the world shooting and stuff. So they kind of got me into the bunker trap world, and really helped me along and taught me a lot with that. So our gun club, with the three of us being interested in it, decided to spend the money, and we didn't put in a full-blown bunker. We just put in what's called a canterbury. It's a simulation of a bunker, and I won't get into all that that entails because that's quite a story. If we do an actual trap podcast, then
Yeah, that's something we could do if we can get Brandy on here.
yeah,
That'd be
we
one
can
could
talk
break it
about the
down.
difference and all the different shooting sports. That'd be a good thing to talk about. So yeah, I got into that, and I did that for a few years, and that was, like Luke said, that's what ended up getting me to my first, like where I went to college in St. Louis, or actually it's in St. Charles, Missouri. I went to Lindenwood University because of the bunker trap shooting. Sorry, I was taking a sip of beer there. It's good stuff. So yeah, that's how I ended up getting into that university. I went there pretty much specifically for shooting. I've never been a big school guy, which I would recommend that you kids stay in school and stuff, go to college, but whatever. So I went there to shoot and had a really, really good time there. We traveled all over the place, and I traveled all over the place in high school and stuff, to Colorado and Arizona and Texas and stuff, going to different shoots, to Georgia. And just it was a lot of fun. You know, I had a really good time. It really took me a lot of places, and I met a lot of people that I never would have met, and I did things that I never would have done if it weren't for getting into shooting and pursuing that. You know, like a lot of people in high school pursue football or baseball or whatever, and my thing was shooting, and that took me way farther than I ever imagined it would.
So, with you shot trap for quite a bit. Is there any correlation, do you think, with shooting like that much and how accurate you are, like with a bow or a rifle now, and like in a hunting scenario?
Actually, I have a lot of bad habits for shooting a bow because of my trap shooting.
Really?
Yeah, they're not the same at all. Because with a bow, you want it to be 100% surprise shot. You know, you want to have a hair trigger, you know, and just be rock solid on your target and slowly touch off, or like same with a rifle. It's a real slow squeeze, and that shot surprises you. With trap shooting, you slap the trigger. You know, as soon, you know, you just swing and slap, and that trigger goes off exactly when you want it to. And so me shooting hundreds of thousands of rounds with my shotgun shooting trap, I've developed a reflex of when I'm on my target, I pull the trigger. So it takes me a lot to break that habit of, and even though I don't shoot near as much as I used to anymore with my shotgun, it's still ingrained into my mind. When you touch your target, you slap the trigger. So it's taken me quite a bit to get away from that habit and get into that relaxed shot. And I actually switched to a back tension release.
This is exactly what I was going to ask you, is if
Yeah.
if you've done anything to help yourself get over that.
Yeah, I did, because you know, I shot a wrist release forever, and you know that my trigger finger with my shotgun and my release is my pointer finger. So my pointer finger is just so used to, my brain just tells it to slap. And was watching a video one day and I saw someone using a back tension release, and I didn't even, look into what they were at all or how they worked. I just watched a video of someone using one, and it clicked. I was like, I have to have one of those because I know that will solve my problem. And since I started shooting it, it has really, really helped that issue with me having target panic and slapping the trigger, because it's just a totally different style of release, you're using different fingers.
Yeah, there's no real like trigger finger anymore.
No, it's all, you just kind of roll and use your tension on your back to get that shot to go off. So it's
more of a surprise shot, I think is what they're
exactly
aiming to do with that.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, so that helped me a lot to break that habit of slapping like a shotgun. And so, yeah, if you're looking to get real into bow hunting, I wouldn't say also get real into trap shooting, because the whole ideology between the two doesn't really mix. The mental aspect, definitely, because that trap is literally 100% mental. I would say if you have any ability with a firearm, you can shoot trap to a pretty good degree. But to get to like the next level, it's all mental, 100%.
So with your back tension release, I know you shoot target with it because that's what we do quite a bit right now. Do you plan on hunting with it, or what's your plans for come fall?
I haven't hunted with it yet. When I first bought it, I honestly didn't think I would be comfortable shooting it hunting, but after shooting it throughout the our whole winter league and stuff, and I plan on shooting it all summer long practicing, I'm pretty comfortable with it now, and I honestly think that I would be comfortable hunting with it.
Is there any like safety on it to where if you didn't want to shoot, are you able to release and come back down?
Tom, what are you doing?
I'm just lighting up a smoke.
Are we doing a smoke break real quick?
Yeah, I think we oughta.
Well, I guess since it is Frank's host hot seat, we'll let him lead us into the smoke break.
I earned a smoke?
Yeah, Frank earned a smoke.
So this week's smoke break, I actually got this recipe from our good buddy Andy Larson, and it's a real solid backstrap smoke break. Everyone loves their backstraps. This is a pretty handy way to prepare them. Everyone that I have made them for absolutely loved it. So what you're going to need is one or more backstraps, however many you feel like making.
Preferably venison.
Yes, absolutely. And bacon. You're going to want, I put shredded cheese into the cream cheese that you're also going to need, and just mix up the shredded cheese and cream cheese, whatever kind of cheese you want. If you want some pepper jack cheese, throw that in there. If you want some sharp cheddar, it's all on you. Have fun with it.
A little something I've been eager to try. If anybody else here follows Hunt Chef on Instagram, that guy's got a whole new line of seasonings and rubs out right now, and I got a little taste test while we were down in Harrisburg, and they are phenomenal.
They are.
I haven't gotten a chance to order some, but I want to get our hands on some. We want to try this recipe. You sprinkle a little bit. There's one that's got like a lot of brown sugar in it. I think it was I can't remember the name of them. I'm sorry about that. But check out Hunt Chef's website, huntchef.com, and check out some of those seasonings because they are delicious.
Yeah, for sure. So if you have any Hunt Chef seasonings, feel free, throw them on there. It'll be delicious. But what I did with these, like I said, I mixed the shredded cheese, whatever kind you like, in with some cream cheese. And then you take your backstrap and whatever will fit in your smoker. If you can leave it whole to fit in a smoker, do that. Or if you got to cut it in half, you can do that. Wrap it in bacon, but leave some space between the bacon so the smoke can penetrate into the backstrap.
Oh, you're saying so like almost like a spiral of bacon around the backstrap. Is that what you mean by putting space between?
Yeah. You don't want it to be completely encased in bacon because the smoke doesn't penetrate all the way through.
I'm just making sure because for a split second, I'm thinking like how to space the bacon off of the backstrap.
Yeah, you're gonna want to put about a half-inch gap.
Yeah, put a spacer in there. Yeah. Don't eat it, but
no.
So spiral the bacon around.
Should be touching the backstrap.
Yes,
just not completely covering.
But
the
bacon shouldn't be touching bacon.
That's perfect.
Bacon does not touch bacon. Bacon touches backstrap. So, butterfly your backstrap. Just open it up and take your cream cheese mix, stuff it inside of there.
Really mash it in there.
Oh, yeah. Get it in there real good.
You could even put a little jalapeno pepper in there.
Oh, yeah. Put anything you want in there. Stuff it up.
And tell us if you guys do this and you decide to spice it up a bit. Let us know what you did because I'm always fixing to try it.
Yeah. So stuff your backstrap, wrap it in bacon, spiral it, make sure it's touching the backstrap, and throw it in the smoker. I am not a huge, like, really strong smoke guy, so I like to smoke with apple. That's my go-to wood for doing these backstraps. And I smoke it at about 200 to 225 degrees, and it doesn't take too long. I cook it. I like rare meat, so it all depends on what you like to cook it to. So just pay attention to the temperature. When it's rare or medium rare, however you like it, pull it out. And I just cut it into...
Well, at that temperature, 200 to 225, how long does that take to get it rare?
About an hour and a half-ish.
And then, like, I know a lot of times when we prepared it for, like, groups of people, we went more towards that medium rare.
Yeah, most people like the medium.
We were going towards closer like that 3-hour mark, I believe.
No,
not even?
No, not 3 hours. That's way too long.
Really?
Your credibility, again, is shot.
Well, it's
Probably
already
close
shot,
to, like,
so...
the 2-hour mark.
Yeah, I mean,
Nick-
if you
Nick
look at
likes to go about 3
all of the
hours.
numbers in the world,
It's really
I wasn't
not
that far
apart.
off.
It's not.
Yeah,
So-
but if you look at all of the numbers in 3 hours, you were a whole hour off. So
And that is what we're looking at.
We are looking at that. So don't smoke it for 3 hours. That'll be way too long.
Unless you like it well done. And if you like it well done,
Don't
you're probably
try.
not much of a fan of meat.
Yeah. So that's how you're going to want to do it. Just pay attention to the temperature, and whenever it's to your liking, however you like your meat cooked.
could you just run
Pull
over
that-
the times one more time without Nick's stupidity screwing it up?
Yeah. Go with an hour and a half, and you'll probably be pretty happy with an hour and a half at 225 degrees. Pull her out, and I just slice it up. Probably about
Medallions, if you will.
about a half-inch thick, maybe a little more, 3/4, depending on what you're looking for.
Depends on how much you like your guests.
Yeah, exactly. And oh man, it is to die for. Juicy. That cheese is just right. The bacon keeps it nice and moist. It's
And
it's
that
good
apple
stuff.
adds a delicious flavor.
Yeah, the smoke is just right.
I
So
prefer to use pine chips, but that's just me.
that's your stuff.
Yeah, your credibility is also gone.
Yeah. So everyone, thank Andy Larson for that smoke break. Try it out. Let us know what you think.
And if you're wondering, yes, that is a relative of the one and only lead fly, Jared Larson,
Yes, it is. And don't forget to try them Hunt Chef spices.
for sure.
So where we were when Frank was interrupted is he was
Who
telling
was he
us-
interrupted by?
Yeah, well, you guys always give me shit for, you're not talking enough. Well, every time I try and talk, I get interrupted. So
We're trying a new thing out here tonight. But Frank was over there. He was telling us about the safety
Here
features.
I am getting
on it.
interrupted again.
Yep.
Unreal.
Just accept it. Frank's
I'll
telling us
just
about
shut
the
up.
safety features on his back tension release that he now has at the table for our viewing pleasure.
Yeah, it's sitting right here. I shoot a True Fire, and it does not have a safety on him. I know, I think True Ball makes one that actually has a safety on it, and it literally cannot go off until you touch the safety off. Naturally, that's what a safety does. But mine does not have a safety. If you pull it back, if you're at half draw and you start to roll your hand back, it's gonna go off.
Okay, so is there like adjustments on that to where like for the right weight or anything? Because I know certain releases I've looked at, there's like an adjustment for how much weight. I guess maybe it wasn't quite a back tension release. There's another one.
Nope, no adjustments.
No, there are adjustments on it.
None.
It's not as far as weight goes. It's called like how hot the release is,
Okay.
and it just
How far
much,
you got to roll it before
yeah,
it goes
exactly.
off.
And
How-
there's like if you're listening, obviously you're concentrating, you can hear there's like a single click that kind of tells you that you're ready to fire, correct? And then it releases.
then it'll go off. Yeah, I don't know if all back tensions are like that. That's what the True Fire is. It has like, as you start to roll roll it back, it has one little
You
click.
can actually hear it. Ready? Listen. I don't know if you could hear that on the mics.
Yeah, so it has a little click, and then you pull with your back, and it'll go off. So that's literally all it has for a safety. It's not really a safety. It's just like a warning when it clicks that it's about to go off.
Gotcha. So before we get any further, earlier this morning I put out a post that we were going to be doing this host hot seat, and if anybody had any questions, that we would go over them. And
Do we have some questions?
We had two. First one I want to go over is our friend Luke Zimmer. Luke Zimmer wants to know, if you could go anywhere in the world to hunt, where would you go and what would you be hunting?
And why?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I planned
Why?
on giving the why. For a while, I wanted to do a red stag hunt because I just think red stag are just such beautiful animals, and
For delicious meat too. Actually, we've eaten red stag up back when the guy up by our camp used to have red stag, and we used to. It was farm raised, but
Very delicious.
Very yeah, delicious.
yeah. So I've always kind of wanted to do that. I don't like the fact that most red stag hunts are fenced hunts. Like if you want a big red stag, you're gonna be in a fence. And like New Zealand stuff, it's pretty much all fence hunts. And I'm not real big on fences. You know, some people are all about it, but it's not really for me. So that kind of turned me off of the red stag thing. But one thing that I really, really want to do is an ibex hunt. I would love to shoot an ibex with my bow.
I am not very familiar with. I'm not sure if that's another type of deer or what. What is an ibex?
An ibex is a goat. It has real like long curl. It's not like a curl like a sheep.
It's like a curve more.
Yeah, it's more of a curve than a curl.
like if you took a straight line and you just grabbed it on each end and sorry, I was away from the mic. Sorry, Brad. If you get on both ends, you just bend it a little bit, just adds like a nice arc.
Yeah.
It seems like something you'd see out like in Africa or something.
No, they're like in Asia and the Middle East is where you'll find, and Europe. There's
Kind of like
lot of
it's a
them.
big mountain goat, really long fur, right? Your hair. I guess,
Yeah,
what
but
you,
in like I think it was the 70s. I honestly don't know the exact dates on this stuff, but they moved some to the United States. So in New Mexico, there's a population that's been in the, been wild since.
I was
Kinda
gonna say,
like
so
we
you
did
have
with the
natives
elk.
now that have been born in the U.S.
Yeah,
roaming
they've been there
plains.
since like the 60s or 70s. I can't
Very
remember
cool.
the first year that they actually brought them to the U.S., but there's a huntable population in New Mexico. It takes quite a bit to draw the tag, so it's not like something that you're going to go plan and do tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But I've talked to a few different outfitters that do it, and they say it's a pretty tall order to kill one with a bow. The bow tag is a lot easier to get than a rifle tag, and I'm pretty sure the rifle tag is a one-time thing. Once you draw it, you can never draw it again. So,
Wow.
yeah, and the bow one is still difficult to get, but it's not like impossible. So that is a big hunt that I would love to do. And what, Tom?
I was gonna say, I bet you'd have fun on that hunt. Because I
Ibex.
bet ibex, like, pretty similar.
Wow, that was great.
That was so
Everyone, give Tom a round of
I thought
applause,
it was
please.
pretty clever.
That was great.
Perfect.
So yeah, that's like my all-time dream hunt is to kill an ibex with my bow. And for a while I thought, because like ibex hunts are kind of like sheep hunts. Like if you go to Europe and stuff, they're really expensive hunts. So when I found out that there was a population to hunt in the United States that's a lot cheaper, I got pretty pumped. So I definitely plan on doing that hunt sometime in the future. That's
How big are ibex? Like how many pounds?
they're not a huge animal. I mean, like 100 pounds, 100. They're not big, but their horns are really cool looking. They just got a real nice curve to them, as Nick said, and they got a little bit of character, like some bumps and stuff on their horns. They're really neat looking. So that's my all-time hunt.
Yeah.
So thanks for the question, Luke. We appreciate it.
Yeah, always appreciate the questions, and not even just for the host hot seats. If there's anything you guys want to know about us, send them in. But our second question comes from our one and only good friend Ben Flack, who's actually
You just
out-
said we have one friend.
Our one and only friend.
Yeah.
I think.
He's our only
He is the
friend
one and only Ben Flack.
Thank you
who
for your
is
service.
our friend.
Yeah, he's one of our friends, not the one and only.
Yes, Frank. Good point. Thank you for your service.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Ben.
Thank you, Ben, so much.
Ben's in the Navy.
So
if you guys
Ben,
were wondering.
Ben
He's a hero.
said his question is what everyone wants to know. Not just him. He has stated that everyone wants to know, when are White Cat shirts going to be available?
Oh man, he's asking about the merch. Well,
Fill him in, Frank. We'll give you the honors.
I'll give it to you guys straight. We got some hats. If you guys want some, we have them available. We don't have shirts and hoodies and stuff like that yet. We're getting there, but we do have some hats. And just so you guys know, we do plan on doing a little giveaway with some hats. So keep an eye out on our social media, Instagram and Facebook, for the details on how to get in to win that hat.
With no charge. It's
Literally
gonna be free.
no charge.
So Ben,
Can't beat that with a stick.
yeah, Ben, stay patient, buddy. We're getting the hats out there. Other stuff's in the works. We're just working on some design stuff and picking some products out. But it's coming. So I want to thank everybody for the questions. And like I said, stay tuned. Look on our social media the next few days. We're going to be doing a giveaway on some hats, and the details will be on our social media accounts.
Well, that's it for our questions. But before we wrap things up tonight, we just want to ask Frank about his number one all-time, hands down, best, greatest outdoor
Undisputed.
story.
Undisputed champion of the world. Oh man, that's tough.
I'm looking
Minus-
at a lot of them hanging on the wall right here.
Minus the 140 some odd inch Pope and Young whitetail, because we've heard that story.
Yeah.
Other than that,
I'm staring at it right now.
if you could relive one outdoor moment, hands down the best.
Chewing acorns with Tom Soboleski.
That was a pretty good one. That one's pretty high up there on the list. That's what kicked all this off, was the chewing acorns. So that one's up there. And honestly, it'd just be pretty much anything with my dad, like up in Alaska and moose camp, or my black bear hunt. All of that stuff up in Alaska has really just stood out in my mind with all of my outdoor experiences. Everything up there is just phenomenal. I love every second I spend up there, not just because of being outdoors and the different things that you get to see, because in Pennsylvania you're not going to go walk out back and see a moose or a grizzly bear. So it's really cool to see those different things up there, and I get to do it with my dad, and that's a really special thing that a lot of people don't get to share with their parents. Me and my dad both have a passion for the outdoors, and we found a way to make I don't want to say make a living out of it.
You
but
make money doing it. It pays
Yeah,
for itself.
exactly. It's
in
something,
certain aspects.
yeah, and you can make a little bit of money at it, and we get to spend all that time together and learn different things about the outdoors and learn from each other. And it's just, everything about that is phenomenal to me. That really stands out in my
And
mind.
if you're looking to learn about something about the outdoors, I don't think there's any better person to be with than your dad.
Yeah, no, he is hands down the greatest outdoorsman that I know.
I would agree with that. A lot of my best hunting memories are with my dad as well.
Yeah.
But I think before we sign it off here tonight, it would only make sense if, since Frank here is our host hot seat, he closed us off with a write-in pen.
Oh man, everyone, click your pens and wet your quills. Let's do it. I guess my write-in pen would be, if you anyone that's got kids, or if you're just someone that's looking to get into the outdoors. A lot of people don't like hunting, or if you do like hunting, that's great, but do something. Whether it's like I was saying, the shooting sports took me places, and I met people that most people will never have that experience. So whether it's getting your child involved in going hunting with you, or something like that, or getting them involved in the different shooting sports, there's a lot of different avenues in the shooting sports. So do something along those lines to get your kids outside or get yourself outside. There's so many options.
And
Get
even
them off
just
social
teaching them-
media, off the Xbox.
Just
out
teaching them
and-
respect for firearms too. Is
Yeah,
another big
exactly.
thing.
That's huge.
Yeah, and the biggest thing that I have taken away from all the different things that I've done, like I said, you can't go out in the backyard and see a moose. Getting up to Alaska has opened so many doors for me and different things I can do. And the shooting sports with shooting trap, I moved to Missouri and went to college there, and I traveled all around the country doing different things and met so many people and had formed lifelong relationships through the shooting sports. So I'm a huge advocate for shooting sports, and it's
Even if guns aren't your thing, or hunting or
You
anything.
said we are in archery for shooting sports.
or archery, or even if you don't like the whole aspect of killing or anything along those lines. I recently got into photography.
yeah,
And
exactly.
even just like Frank said, going out and seeing a moose, like, yeah, I don't hunt or anything, but that would be on my bucket list, is to get to Alaska and see a moose. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I want to see an animal that
You can't see it every day.
around here, yeah.
Yeah, so just doing those different things outside to get yourself and the people around you outside for literally any reason. That's what, I've taken away from all of my outdoor experiences, that there's something for everybody in the outdoors.
You heard us say it once, and you'll continue to hear us say it. Get outside.
For sure. That was a great write-in pen, Frank. Everybody needs to do that. And I know with this COVID-19 and everything, bars are closing, stores are closing, work's closing off.
I like how you started off that list with that the bars are closing.
Well, those are the most important.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that
businesses.
what's impacting you the most here?
No, not necessarily.
Nick's got nothing to do on
I was
Thursdays
going alphabetical,
now.
and it was B. So there we are. But there's one thing that they can't close down, and that is the outdoors. So make sure during this quarantine, you guys are getting out there, going fishing. You're going hunting, doing something, whatever it is.
Since it's my host, Hotseat, I know we didn't do it for Tom, but could I say get outside?
If you want to,
I'll do it just one time. You can have it back next week.
Frank, I'll count you down. 3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, please get outside.